Welcome to the English Matura with JB podcast. What if I told you that one of history's greatest musical performances happened when everything went wrong? The story of Niccolo Paganini's Broken Strings completely changes how we think about overcoming obstacles.
That's quite intriguing. What exactly happened during this performance?
Picture this. It's the 19th century, a packed concert hall, and Paganini is performing with a full orchestra on his priceless Stradivarius violin. He's in the middle of an incredibly difficult piece when suddenly, snap, one of his strings breaks.
Well, that must have been absolutely humiliating for a professional musician.
You'd think so, but here's where it gets fascinating. Instead of stopping, he adapts and keeps playing. Then, and this is where it becomes almost unbelievable, a second string breaks.
No way. How does someone even continue playing with two broken strings?
Oh, but wait, it gets even more dramatic. Just as he's adapting to playing with two broken strings, a third string snaps. Now he's standing there, sweat on his brow, with three limp strings dangling from his precious Stradivarius.
So, what did he do? I mean, at that point, most musicians would have just given up.
That's exactly what makes this story so remarkable. Instead of giving up, he looks at the audience with this mischievous twinkle in his eye and announces, Paganini, and one string, then proceeds to play an entire encore piece on that single remaining string.
That's such an incredible demonstration of resilience. It reminds me of that quote about life being 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it.
You know, that's precisely why this story resonates so deeply. It actually parallels another powerful example of resilience, Viktor Frankl's experience in the concentration camps during World War II.
That's quite a dramatic comparison. How do these stories connect?
Well, Frankl made this profound realization. Even in the most horrific circumstances imaginable, there was one thing that couldn't be taken from him: his ability to choose his attitude, his response to what was happening.
So, in both cases, we're talking about finding power in what remains rather than being defeated by what's lost.
Exactly. And here's what's fascinating. This principle applies whether we're talking about a virtuoso performer, a concentration camp survivor, or someone facing a difficult day at work. Our attitude might be the most important daily decision we make.
Though I imagine maintaining that positive attitude becomes incredibly challenging when everything seems to be going wrong.
That's where the real work comes in. It's not about toxic positivity or pretending everything is fine. It's about recognizing our power to choose our response, even in the most difficult situations.
So, how do you suggest people actually put this into practice? It's one thing to understand it intellectually, but another to live it.
Think of it like building a muscle. Start with small daily choices. When something goes wrong, maybe your computer crashes and you lose work, you have that moment of choice. You can let it ruin your entire day, or you can take a deep breath and focus on what you can control.
That makes sense for minor setbacks, but what about when the stakes are much higher?
That's when it becomes even more crucial. Every challenge becomes a chance to practice what I call the one string principle, focusing on what we can do with what remains rather than lamenting what we've lost.
You know, that's making me reflect on times when I've given up too easily, assuming I had no options left.
And that's precisely why these stories are so powerful. They remind us that even in seemingly impossible situations, we often have more options than we realize. It's about developing the creativity and resilience to find those options.
So perhaps the real message here is about redefining what's possible within our constraints.
Yes, and about recognizing that our attitude is that single string that can either sustain us or cripple our progress. When our attitude is right, there's no obstacle too high, no valley too deep, no dream too big, and no challenge too tough.
That's quite a powerful way to look at it. It really changes how you might approach any challenge.
Indeed, and perhaps that's the ultimate lesson from both Paganini and Frankl, that our greatest power lies not in our circumstances, but in how we respond to them. Every day, we have the opportunity to choose our attitude and to make music with whatever strings we have left. Thank you for listening. We hope this story has inspired you. Wishing you all the best. Take care and farewell.